wow, this figure looks fantastic.
Hello guys, Adam here from Not Toys Action Figures, bringing you another Lightning Collection Power Rangers Remastered review. And actually this is the first remastered figure we've reviewed on the channel. You can see here I have blue and I have yellow. I never did a review of them because at the time I didn't have any space to do reviews. So I actually just opened them up and got them out and just kind of put them on the shelf because I thought they looked cool. But yeah, this next wave is coming out, or I should say the final wave of at least the Mighty Morphin versions or Rangers. Pink is here. I have, this isn't remastered, but I have Rita Repulsor. I have red and green in the post, and I also got a message saying that black was going to release soon. So without further ado, let's get her out of the box, because I think I reviewed one Pink Ranger before, one Mighty Morphin Pink. I have Kimberly. She's still unpacked or unboxed. I think I reviewed the cat version. So this will be my first Kimberly. And yeah, without further ado, let's get her out of the box.
Morphin time, and here's Kimberly up on the stand in the morphin position with her two Power Ranger teammates at the side. And wow, this figure looks fantastic. As you see her spinning around there, you can see some of the accessories going by. She gets her bow, she has an arrow. She obviously has the Pink Ranger Petrodactyl helmet there going past. You get the three different versions of the blaster, and she also has some hands here, which I'll show you later. But her herself, just turning around there, it's a little bit obviously hard to see, but just get a look at just the figure itself as it goes around. I don't know, there's something about her in the pink one. Maybe it's because I don't review many Pink Rangers, but just going from the headband, if you look at the detail on her face, I really like that how good the sculpts looked, but they have a kind of it's not photorealism to them. They almost have a kind of cartooniness to their faces. The expressions are very simple, and the print on the eyes and stuff. And I'll give you a closer look at it later. It's very simple, but it also just looks really clean. And yeah, I think I got lucky with Kimberly because I think her face, the figure itself, the helmet, everything looks really clean. Also the effects, like when I got the Yellow Ranger out of the box, all of the effects were warped and I had to put them under the hairdryer to kind of get them back to normal. With Billy, he has some issues. I'll show you that later actually, with his helmet and paint missing, but damn, Kimberly looks amazing. Let's get her in another pose. And after Kimberly's morphed here, she has just fired her shot off. And yeah, I mean, just a great looking figure. I'm really glad that Hasbro have remade. Oh, there's Billy over there on the floor. I'm really glad that Hasbro has remade these figures because for a lot of people, I think they've been really hard to get hold of the Mighty Morphin ones, and there was a lot of issues with the original ones. I think there's still some with these, but they have tried to make them a little bit more like the suits from the actual TV show. Like when we go through her articulation, you'll see that there is still a couple of things, most noticeably her feet, that aren't correct. And I mean, I'm not the biggest expert on what is show accurate and what is not in Power Rangers, but I always think, yeah, the feet is one thing that I would have thought would be easy for them to do and to make correct, but obviously not. But no, she strikes a nice pose there. I love the reflectiveness on her helmet. Like you can see it's reflecting back my lights. She's very dynamic. I can't quite get my phone around that way, but have a straight on for you there. Looks very cool. Just strikes a really nice pose. So yeah, let's go through her articulation a little bit, and yeah, also look at her accessories. Yeah, so arguably one of the biggest things about the remastered versions of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is that the females do have this updated body. So the updated body, Hasbro have always, I don't know, their female figures have always had an inferior body, I would say, because I guess females tend to be, or body types tend to be a bit slimmer than males, and that means that sometimes they have to skimp on, at least Hasbro has to skimp on some of the engineering because there's less space to put in pins or put in kind of joints. And that's the coolest thing I think about these figures, is that they have the updated engineering. So you can see here, and we will compare them because I don't have a Kimberly, but I do have Andromeda. Spoilers for an upcoming video.
This will be on Monday's video. This one I just got this today and was like, I need to make a video straight away because I'm so excited to get it out of the box. So yeah, watch out for this on Monday. But the biggest difference you can see here is the elbows on the arms. The elbows, they are only single jointed on the old body, so she only goes up to 90, whereas now they are double jointed. So they should, if we play around with them properly, get a much more range. So that's the biggest comparison you can see there. There's also some other changes, like I think to the waist here, you can kind of see that the old one, it cuts a line much higher up. So she does get some tilt, but on here it's a little bit lower. That might actually be because of her skirt, so that might not be the case. Maybe we can look on yellow. So yeah, it is a little bit lower, but actually I think the tilt on these is, yeah, it's more in the actual waist rather than up here. They do have one here too, but you can see it's a little bit different. So there's maybe not that much difference actually in the engineering, but there is differences. I think it's also the legs. Is it these ones? I can't remember if the legs, they have the drop down ball on them, but I don't think they do. So it's mostly, yeah, the elbows are the main thing. Also, these are obviously pinless, so you don't see the pins here or here, whereas on Andromeda you can see her pins, even though they're well hidden there. So that's the main thing. So yeah, I guess we'll go through the articulation because this is a remastered version. I don't have any remastered on there, but if you look, the head goes to the side, it goes. So I'm having a little bit of an issue with mine. I can't tell if it's quite fixed on or not. And I don't want to force it because I don't want to break the actual joint. Again, maybe we can look at yellow. But yeah, so the head, yellows is on properly. It does get a bit of look up, and so does Kimberly. But the look down isn't really anything special. And you can see that it is actually a separate neck piece in there, which is quite interesting, but it doesn't actually seem to be giving much movement to the head, which is a little bit unusual. For the guys, he does have a bit more tilt, but for the girls, it just seems like the neck is very stiff. So the neck isn't quite as good as the guys. But then if we go up to the shoulders, you just have to be a bit careful that you line them up properly. You can see it goes above 90. There is a swivel at the biceps. The shoulders can go all the way around. We have the butterfly joint there that goes forwards and backwards really nicely. Double jointed elbows, I already showed you, goes up. There is a twist there at the wrist, at the forearm. There is a twist on the wrist, of course. This hand doesn't have a pivot, but some of her hands do. Then we have the waist here. It's kind of broken up between the upper body and the lower body. You can see the lower body has kind of the crack there. Her belt, for me, it seems to sit quite high at the front, but then low at the back, as if she needs to pull up her trousers or pull up her skirt, which then, of course, means it gets in the way of her tilt forward. Her tilt back is quite good, but yeah, the tilt forward isn't really much to write home about. And the belt itself, if we look closely, I'm really happy with the morpher. It's not exactly centered perfectly, but you can definitely tell it's a petrodactyl. It looks gold. You see the bits of red. You see the other little details here on the side. And what I like is, yeah, now we have the new updated belt. So the belts have this black pinstripe going around them, which is more accurate. Obviously, there are bits where it gets a little bit untidy there, but it's a nice little feature to add. Going down to the legs I think are mostly the same. So her skirt does get in the way a little bit, but you can kind of at least move the legs out with Kimberly. You can move them up, but you have to kind of bring stuff out the way. She does have a thigh swivel. She has a double jointed knee that doesn't go that far back, to be honest. It's quite not the best there. Maybe if you play around a little bit more, you could get it there. But again, the boots, this is one thing I still don't like, is that boots, you can tell these are just the regular boot tops for the men, and then they've just kind of pushed the skinnier female legs into them, so the boots always look like they're wearing wellies rather than having boots that go almost flush into the leg like they do with the men. But yeah, it still means though that because they're a separate piece, you do get a swivel. You go down to the foot is on a rocker. It's also on a pivot going backwards and forwards. And that's the articulation. So that's the updated stuff. The big thing, I guess, is the double pinned elbows. And that's the articulation. Let's get her in another pose. Before we put her into another pose, let's look at her accessories. So the first one you already saw, we have the bow here. Doesn't look that noticeably different to what we saw, but again, this is we saw before with the other Pink Rangers, but it is quite a basic weapon. I would say this is the most basic looking weapon of all of the Mighty Morphin Rangers. So we get the bow, we get one arrow, which I think with the other figure, with the original one, we got a couple of arrows. Also with Kimberly, not Kimberly, Cat, we got a couple of arrows. So they give you one here. It would have been nice to have kind of maybe some more arrow effects. Like I know with Marvel Legends, they have some really cool ones where it looks like people are shooting 3 bullets or 3 arrows at a time. Something like that would have been nice, maybe in this pink color. But yeah, we've got the one arrow. We then have the blade blaster in its 3 different types. So we have it here as kind of holstered, which is nice that they included this. We get it as the actual blaster itself. And we get it in bladed mode, which is my favorite mode to have the this kind of blaster in. I just love the little blade sticking out. Then we got onto her head. So Kimberly's head you already saw, but again, it's a nice, like, the more I look at it, the more it kind of gives me a kind of like a uncanny valley look, where I'm like, yeah, that does look like the actress. But then the more you look at it, the more you're like, yeah, or the different angles you get give you kind of different views of like, oh yeah, it really looks like her, and then other times you're like, this just looks like someone like her, if you know what I mean. But I do like it. I really like that they have the pink headband in there. I don't know if the original Kimberly head sculpt had that in. The hair looks nice. It's kind of basic. It's very just like brown plastic. There's no wash to it or no kind of highlights. Like if we look at Andromeda's hair, you might not be able to see it that clearly, but you can see there that there's some highlights to it, some darker purples, and it just brings out the texture. This, again, makes it feel more cartoony and reminds me more of the Super 7 sculpts, where it's just like very block color, block hair, block skin color, and kind of cartoony eyes. It reminds me of that. I actually prefer this to the Super 7 head sculpts, but yeah, that is just something to be mindful of. Then, of course, we have the Morpher there with the Petrodactyl on. Again, I'm quite happy with how the Morpher came out. You can see clearly the Petrodactyl there. There's a bit of pink as the Morpher opens, and on the back we have a little handle. Then we have the additional hands. So the first ones are kind of like this one here is to hold the top of the Morpher when she's morphing. This one is to do the kind of karate chop stance that is really famous for this. This, I believe, is the bottom of the Morpher. You kind of clip it on like so. I'm doing it through my camera, so it's not the easiest to do, but you clip it on like so. I was using a different hand to do it, but I should have used this one. And then we have a fist. So yeah, they were all of the accessories. Let's get Kimberly in a pose. And we are back with Trini, Billy, and Kimberly. And yeah, Kimberly looks really nice up there, keeping overwatch over her teammates. And yeah, what I really like is about this figure is that, you know, sometimes you get figures and they get given bows and they can't do this pose. This pose was really easy to get into. My only kind of little bit of feedback is that with this left hand, the hand isn't a grip like this. It's more like an open grip. So it's quite hard to get the bow held into it properly because the fingers don't wrap around the bow. So that took a little bit of a while to get right. But once we did, we managed to get her into this pose here, and she looks absolutely sick. Again, that light just reflecting off the visor, off the helmet looks fantastic. And yeah, she's a fantastic figure. Really happy to have picked her up, and also for the remastered series to be just a thing that Hasbro have done, because these figures look fantastic. With Billy, my only little problem I had with Billy is that if you look on his silver of his mouthpiece, it's like a little bit of black paint was on there. Otherwise, he looks great. And I do have I have red and green on the way. I also have black coming soon. We also have Rita here in the background, so they'll have someone to fight soon. So if you are looking for more Lightning Collection Remastered content, please make sure you subscribe, because all of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers will be up on there, as with Rita. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you leave a like, because likes help the algorithm and help new people find these videos. And yeah, once again,
thanks so much for watching. I said in my Andromeda video, which I already filmed, so like I said, that's going up on Monday. We are trying to reach 500 subscribers. The last month or so has been absolutely crazy. Like we got I think 120 new subscribers in the last month. So welcome to anyone who is new. Thank you so much for subscribing. And if you are new and you're seeing this video for the first time, yeah, make sure you subscribe. We do lots of Power Ranger content. We've been doing some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff recently. And we just enjoy toys and action figures. So please make sure you subscribe. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.